You know that feeling when you're just staring at your banking app, waiting for money to land? Or maybe wondering why a check takes, days to clear, even now. It feels almost archaic sometimes, right? Like the money's traveling by horse. It's a super common frustration. And this idea of instant payments, well, it's been this kind of holy grail in finance for a long time. Well, hold on to your hats because today's deep dive is all about a really big leap forward. A major one. We're going to unpack the news, the pretty big news that Metallicus is now officially a certified service provider for the FedNow service. So our mission today is to figure out, okay, what is FedNow exactly? And how is Metallicus building this really unique bridge between, traditional finance and the whole blockchain world? And maybe most importantly, why is this such a big deal? Why is it a game changer for how money moves in the US? For me, it just seems like this fascinating point where two different worlds meet. It sounds complex, maybe, but I think it has surprisingly practical, sort of everyday implications for, pretty much anyone who uses money.
Absolutely. And it's important to see this isn't just a tech win for Metallicus. It's actually a really crucial step, maybe even pivotal, in how our whole financial infrastructure is evolving. It's connecting TradFi, traditional finance, and the digital asset space. Two worlds that, honestly, a lot of people thought were totally separate, maybe even incompatible. It really signals a maturing of that digital asset landscape.
Okay, so let's break that down before we get right into the Metallicus piece. What exactly is FedNow? What does it do for banks and credit unions?
Right. So FedNow, at its heart, it's the U.S. Federal Reserve's brand new instant payment network. It was designed, really, to modernize the whole U.S. payment system, get a big upgrade. And the key thing is it enables 24/7 real-time settlement between financial institutions. So think about that. Your bank sends money, the other bank gets it, and it settles instantly, anytime, any day. That real-time, always-on aspect, that's the core difference maker.
Wow, okay. Always on sounds great, but I imagine for banks used to doing things in batches, overnight maybe, does that always on create new challenges, like operational hurdles or security things they need to totally rethink?
That's a really sharp point.
Yeah.
And it definitely requires an evolution for those institutions. If you zoom out a bit, FedNow is basically the Fed's answer to this global push for faster payments. A lot of other countries have had systems like this for a bit, so this helps bring the U.S., up to speed. And to your point about challenges, yes, integrating isn't simple. Companies have to meet really strict standards, operational, security, all of it. Which kind of leads to the next big question. How does a private company actually plug into something so critical, so foundational, like this national infrastructure?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. How does a company like Metallicus, which most people probably associate with blockchain tech, how do they manage to connect with something as, established and tightly controlled as the Fed's payment system? What's involved there? I mean, the achievement itself sounds pretty huge. October 22, 2024, Metallicus becomes certified service provider for FedNow. That puts them in a pretty small, select group, right? Fintechs that can actually handle live transactions on this network. And I'm guessing it wasn't just like filling out a form, this multi-step testing, the compliance. What did that actually look like? What were the big hurdles they had to clear for the Fed's security standards?
You hit the nail on the head. Far, far from simple. What's really striking, I think, is the level of trust and validation that certification implies. It's built right in. It's not just, can your tech do the thing? It's about proving you meet these incredibly tough regulatory and security benchmarks set by the Federal Reserve itself. So yeah, it meant super careful adherence to protocols, proving technical compatibility, sure, but also proving robust compliance frameworks. It's basically a stamp of approval from the highest level of traditional finance, saying, okay, we trust your system. We trust it with the speed and security our national payments need.
Okay, so they've got this massive stamp of approval. What does that unlock? For the banks, the credit unions, and eventually for regular people like us, how does this actually change the game for financial transactions? Well, essentially, Metallicus can now offer banks and credit unions immediate access, like right now, access to these real-time payment rails. And here's the really cool part, I think. It's seamlessly integrated with Metallicus's own stuff, their blockchain infrastructure, Metal blockchain, and the game-changing bits. There are a few key ones. First, you've got instant settlements. And the real impact here isn't just, it's faster. It's about changing how capital flows, how liquid it is. Imagine you're a small business. No more waiting days for payments, juggling cash flow. That unlocks new efficiencies, maybe even new business models that just weren't possible before because of that payment friction. Second, this on-chain identity thing, DID-KYC. Sounds technical, but basically it means transactions are secured using blockchain-based identity verification. Think of it like a super secure digital ID proving who you are, baked right into the transaction. Makes things safer, more reliable. Third, And this is big for banks, seamless integration. Financial institutions can set up these private subnets on Metal blockchain to connect to FedNow, but, and this is key, without having to rip out and replace all their existing technology. That's huge. It lowers the barrier way down for established banks to adopt this new tech. And finally, it's not just theory. Metallicus is digital banking ready. They're already bringing credit unions and banks on board, working with partners like Payfinia and Bonify. So this is actually happening now.
And that brings up a really important point, doesn't it? How does this whole collaboration tackle that skepticism people often have about blockchain's practical uses? For years, the idea of a blockchain company hooking into the Fed system, it felt like oil and water, right? This certification, it's more than just tech. It feels like a cultural bridge being built. It really clearly positions blockchain as like foundational infrastructure, not just some speculative thing. It's a massive step in bridging TradFi, traditional banking, with Web3 innovation, that next wave of decentralized tech.
It really does sound like something brand new. What is it about this specific link up, Metallicus and FedNow, that makes it so groundbreaking? Well, Metallicus is really pioneering this concept they call compliant real-time blockchain banking. And they're doing it by combining their Metal blockchain, which has this unique layer 0 architecture, with the FedNow network. The benefits of building this bridge, they're pretty significant. It opens up a secure, scalable, and transparent path for banks and credit unions, institutions that want to get into crypto, real-time digital assets, but crucially, without running into regulatory headaches. Marshall Hayner, the CEO at Metallicus, he summed it up really well. He said, this is more than a milestone, it's a transformation. With FedNow certification, we're enabling banks to deliver blockchain benefits with the trust and speed their customers expect from modern financial institutions.
Yeah, and what's really compelling from a tech perspective is that layer 0 architecture concept working directly with a national payment system. Think of layer 0 as like the absolute base foundation. Other blockchains can build on top of it. It offers this really strong, highly interoperable base layer that can tackle those big scalability and security issues you sometimes see in more fragmented systems. So when you combine that with something powerful like FedNow, well, it points towards a future where the underlying tech of finance is just much more solid, much more interconnected. It addresses those security and scaling challenges right across the board.
Okay, so the foundation is there, it's solid. What comes next? What kinds of services are we likely to see Metallicus rolling out for the institutions using these solutions? Where do they go from here in expanding this digital banking network?
Right. So as they build out this digital banking network, the institutions using it will get access to a whole suite of things. We're talking tokenized fiat on and off ramps, so easily converting regular money to digital tokens and back again. Also stablecoin solutions, they have things like Metal Dollar XMD, and importantly, compliant DeFi services. So decentralized finance applications, but ones that actually meet the regulatory requirements. Plus things like identity integrated payments, linking that secure digital ID directly to transactions, and also secure treasury management tools for the institutions themselves. If you look at the big picture, all these future offerings, they point towards a really complete ecosystem where all the benefits of blockchain, the speed, the transparency, the programmability are delivered inside a framework that's regulated and trustworthy. So it's definitely not just about making payments faster. It's really about building the core financial rails needed for a fully digital economy, getting it ready for, everyone to use.
So let's wrap this up. It seems clear Metallicus getting this FedNow certification is a really big deal, not just for them, but for the whole digital asset space. It's a powerful signal, isn't it, that crypto and blockchain are moving beyond just speculation and becoming, critical infrastructure. And the key is this isn't some far-off dream. It's live now. It's compliant. It's ready to go. So here's something to think about as you go about your day. How could this blend this fusion of traditional finance speed with blockchain's unique tricks, like on-chain identity and truly instant settlement? How could that actually change your daily money interactions? What new possibilities pop up? Or even what new questions arise when your bank account could, theoretically, connect directly to the bedrock technology of digital assets? Something to mull over.